Hi, I'm Denise Houston, and I'm a teacher at Vincent Middle and High School, and my action research project for EDL 692 is the effects of cross-age peer mentoring with middle school students. Next. Our problem is that we have a lot of students, more and more as the years go on, that are being labeled at risk. And a lot of those act the age-appropriate peers that they need as positive role models. And this relates directly to the high school dropout, as you would be able to tell from boostup.org. So this is the problem that we're having in the schools, and we need to address the issues with these at-risk students. As you can tell, Vincent Middle High School, we are a grade 6 through 12 combination school. 24% of our students are labeled at risk. As you can tell down here, we're primarily a 3-to-1, white versus African American, but 67% of our students live in the lower socioeconomic level, which is a major indication of a lot of our students that are at risk. So my hypothesis questions after reading all the literature is, in what ways are cross-age peer mentoring effective with middle school youth? And also, to what extent does cross-age peer mentoring affect attitudes regarding self-esteem, self-worth, school, and positive relationship building skills known as connectedness? After reading all of the research, my primary researcher is Michael Karcher, and he, and along with many of his colleagues, have developed cross-age peer mentoring programs as well as school-based mentoring programs, and they find that it's been the fastest and most effective way to be able to address the problems with teenage youth. The problem is that there's just not enough literature because it being school-based, not a lot of teachers are doing action research-based projects with them and being able to do some research and take data. But it does, they found out, affect academics, attendance, behavior, and relationships, and all of these domains are part of connectedness. So I started out, I asked for volunteers and I only got females to volunteer. So I had 18 total participants, 9 middle school students, which were my mentees, 9 high school students, which were my mentors. The middle schoolers were identified being at risk for at least 2 of these 3 areas in attendance, discipline, and academics. The whole group, we met daily for 36 minutes during an intervention period, and all of my students were required to attend a minimum of 4 days a week. Our program structure is we had 1 whole day of whole group activities where everybody worked together. We worked on communication skills, conflict skills, those types of whole group types of activities. We had 2 days that we did tutoring, and then we had 1 day where we did individual pair mentoring with each other, the high schooler with the middle schooler, so that they can work on self-esteem issues. There were 12 weeks of preparation specifically with the high schoolers to get them prepared, and then the actual program that took place with the high schoolers and the middle schoolers together was a 12-week study. We used a combination and comparative methods for triangulation. Our quantitative measures were grades, attendance, discipline, and surveys. All of those were taken both post-program as well as pre-program, and then they were compared. My qualitative measures were interviews. Those were individual interviews, whole group interviews, observations that I had taken on a daily and then summarized on a weekly basis, and then also surveys as well. And my measurement that I used was the Hemingway Measure of Adolescent Connectedness version 5.5, and it can be downloaded online. So my quantitative data per student, I ended up finding out that my grades actually decreased almost 2.5 points per student by the time we finished the program. Attendance also decreased. I had an additional 1.5 absences per student, but this I want to note is without student number 7. That student particularly, her data actually ended up skewing the results. So without her, I still had 1.5 additional absences. Behavior did improve with almost a little over 1 fewer discipline issues. Unfortunately, there was really no change in the pre-Hemingway and the post-Hemingway. There was only 2/100ths of a point's difference in improvement. But overall, there was an increase of at least 1 domain. Each student made at least an improvement in 1 area for 53% of the students. For my qualitative findings and my themes, the faculty and student perceptions outweighed the data that I got from quantitative measures. Perception is reality for them, and they saw it as being something positive and worthwhile and definitely needed to continue, even though I did not have the quantitative measures to back that up. The social and interpersonal relationships were not established, unfortunately, but we did find that there was more open communication, and overall, students did see this mentoring program as a way to help them improve their academics. So my conclusions, very much this first point, unpredictable nature of working with adolescent volunteers. There are always problems coming up that I were not foreseeing beforehand, and sometimes those would undo the few steps that we would take, so I was having to always backstep and take care of some of these issues working with my high school mentors. There were slight increases in grades, attendance, and discipline, but overall it did not improve connectedness, and that is based on school, self, and others. And again, perception varies greatly from reality. So the implications is that we already had a school action plan in place. We already were addressing the at-risk population. We chose specifically this year to do it through the extracurricular program, camps, cross-age mentoring programs for students. And it's definitely a continuation of the program as advised. However, the biggest problem that I saw was that in the preparation of the students, they weren't as prepared. So we need to go with a more prescribed training program, and Karcher does have one that is available through purchase, through a book. If you would like to see any more of the information regarding school-age mentoring and cross-school-based mentoring programs, here are all of my references, both this slide and on the next slide. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and thank you.